Alright, well, welcome back to the show. Well, so now, since all that, let's see, Afghanistan debacle is somewhat over, and Afghans back, and trying to reach out to the ones that are still behind Taliban lines. Um, you know, I hard enough to make it, but 2 decades of war. And I don't want to start with this. 2 decades of war. And, most people, if not everybody, was relieved that 2 decades of war are over. For the young kids coming up and for them to know what this was about, they're not going to know. Many of us don't know. And again, I was never in Afghanistan. I supported Afghanistan and Iraq through reports. And so, the only thing I can say about Afghanistan is the fact that, we went in with good intentions. Well, I mean, for us, it was good intentions, revenge. Bringing a little bit of, I guess, relief to the family. They didn't really get relief. Then we went into nation building, and then from there we watched everything fall. People who I think are most affected aren't so much the fighters, but the trainers. The trainers and the rebuild teams. The project rebuild teams or the communications people that go out and ask what the people's villages need, because they work closely with these villages. They work closely with these communities. I think people don't realize that, elders, are important in Afghanistan, but also their former commanders. And, but yeah, I mean, to say that it was a noble effort would really unhinge what happened over there. And again, like last episode, I said that, not so much the Afghans weren't willing to fight. No, they were taking weapons, they were taking ammo, they were, doing all this stuff that we would consider corrupt, which is shave off their beards, go rejoin under a new name, a new alias, bump up the numbers, but they were sending those back home. Those who would desert the army when there was a high desertion rate. They were deserting back home with weapons, ammo, and gear so that they could stock the villages up. I think they knew in the end that after 20 years of war, training, and all that, the nationalism that, and I say nationalism because, if you know about Afghanistan, Afghanistan is divided not into nationalistic parties, it is divided into tribal regions. And the tribes are the ones who control everything. That is why you have commanders. That is why you have all sorts of stuff. I think people need to realize, need to know that, all these weapons, all this money was getting bogarted probably to mountain defense in the regions of the tribes. But that's just my theory, and all I can do is theorize. I can't say much, and you know, I it's been one hell of a week. A lot of veterans have been, angry about what is said. Um, you know, if you go to Twitter, you can go to Mill Twitter, and it's blowing up right now. We were unified on interpreters. Now we're not unified when it comes to Afghanistan and what happened. And I get it. I get it. In fights that you are personally involved in, you don't want to hear a side that, wasn't with you in the trenches. And here's the thing. Many people who know me know that I believe in two things. All right. I do believe in the freedom of speech, but when it comes to matters that, you don't have a good enough handle on, research. Don't go with the party line. Don't go with the crowd that you belong to. Always research. And I think that's what really hurts most veterans right now, and the fact that people haven't researched. They're confused, they're betrayed, they're hurt. I stay confused because it's not so much they're confused in their service, they're confused in what their mission was. It collapsed so easily. And of course, they're betrayed by the government. The government basically left their allies who they fought with, who were in the sand with them, just left them behind. How can you not feel betrayed about that? How can you not feel betrayed by the fact that your brother in arms, whether it's an interpreter, a logistics person, someone you were training, they are still brothers in arms. They may not fight with you. What I've seen is interpreters were armed, but then again, if probably that does happen, I wouldn't doubt it. But they were right beside you during the mission, during your time there. All right. And so it is a betrayal. It's a betrayal for them and a betrayal for the veterans. What will this go down as? I would hate for this to go down as a Vietnam. I would hate for this to go down as an experiment that failed. More and more aligned, we'll find out politically how people feel about Iraq and Afghanistan. I say more and more down the line because it's still fresh. It's still fresh. I was 14. Hold on 1 minute. All right, sorry, that was my mom. But yeah, it's too fresh. Honestly, if it were me, I would say it was successful as far as going after the terror networks that are, always going to attack. I think people fail to realize that insurgencies and terrorists are going to improvise. Some will be able to be merged back into society, others won't. I mean, that's just the way it is. I know a lot of people don't know about terrorism, so I can give you many ways. West Germany during the Cold War had a group that kidnapped. They also robbed banks. They were integrated into society after the leaders were killed. And many of them were jailed. In LA, there was a terrorist group that operated. and some paper magnet, Patty Herst, yeah, Patty Herst, was kidnapped and then found in those robberies. So, you know, and I mean, terrorism, guys, has been everywhere. It's not new. It's nothing new. And to put it on one sort of people seems to be the flavor of this nation in the West in general. I get that we were affected on 9/11, so I'm not going to be knocking everything and everybody. But the fact that we've had terrorism attacks on this soil should not surprise anybody. We have been dealing with terrorism since I'd say the end of the Civil War, probably even before that, but uprisings, I mean, now I'd call them terrorists, but before they were just angry people who wanted, their voices to be heard. Everyone wants a voice to be heard, whether it's political or not, or religious or anything else. But still does not detract from the fact that we went after Al Qaeda and took the Taliban away. The nation building by the politicians then was a failure. You can't blame the military so much for being a part of that effort. Again, it was under the wishes of George Washington that the military not become its own class, that there was not an independent military. It was under simple, strict civilian guidance. And this is what we have. Whenever we go to war or a war is started, I blame the politicians because they are the ones who send in the military. Whether it is the president under the authorized use of military force, which has now been detracted by both Democrats and Republicans in Congress. In Congress, that means the House and the Senate, because they didn't like the way the president used that law. Well, of course they didn't like it. If it's not their side in office, they're not going to like how it's done. That should never became an option in the first place. You're talking about an old Cold War relic that should have been either revised for the 21st century for proper use instead of let's just go out like Yosemite Sam with the guns in the air and and again, like most veterans, I believe that we now need to put the military back in their congressional camp. We need to start thinking about ourselves. What are we going to do? I know that this seems like a simple answer. I always ask people, what drove you to continue after your service? I get a lot of, I needed to keep going. I couldn't stop, couldn't slow down. I get it. I had to too. When I got released from the military, I went right into working while trying to get my ex-wife over here. I didn't slow down. You know, I want to bring up a very particular sticky issue. Okay. Now that we're winding down, now that everything's going to come into context, um, go get help. Go see a therapist. And before anyone goes, oh well, you know, they don't allow that. They don't want us. Okay, yeah, I know they don't want you to. And if it means you get taken off the line, get taken off the line. Because in the end, those people who are telling you to, you know, stand firm, don't get therapy, don't get taken off the line, don't get this, don't get that. Where are they going to be in the future when they got, when they're doing better, they're doing therapy, and they're out, retired, or they, you know, didn't rejoin the military, but they're doing better. And you're suffering alcoholism, drug abuse, drug addiction. This is why, you know, this show was initially created, was for the people who, you know, like me, who refuse to get help, refuse to do stuff, and, you know, stuff. I know people are like, oh, you're in the Navy, what you suffer from. Well, you know, next week when I probably have my wife on, she'll tell you all about what happens and why she really hates veterans who like to eat other veterans. And why, you know, the VA is such a bad system, and how it, you know, morally bankrupts people, veterans, and the government. And I think it's hilarious because I was telling her about how the biggest theme in anybody's life is three words: fraud, waste, and abuse. Those are the best charges to get put on you. And she goes, oh, how come the VA isn't going to prison for fraud, waste, and abuse? Now, many people know that I do have a problem with the VA of the past. The VA now is working better and getting harder. But everybody says, don't go on your laurels. And I have strived on the show to never just sit on our laurels and do this and whatever. I tried to make an experience that is going to last. And if not last, at least you can see it, hear the rants. If either you like it, you don't like it. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, you know. What does matter to me is the fact that, guess what? We are in this, and we are in this together. Combat, non-combat, guess what? We're veterans. We have created a social class in a social construct. We really have. And why? You know, I think about something, and one of the things I think about is, you know, when veterans get together, whether combat, non-combat, just as veterans, you know, we make fun of each other, we laugh, you know, we really look at it like we are, you know, back in the field, you know, or back in the fleet, back in the field, back in the line, you know, token joke, bullshit, just bullshit. You know, and it's a reprieve. One thing I think that we don't realize is how this affects our wives, husbands. And I get it. Now I get it. My fiance slash wife, she tells me about how glad she is that I have a support network with other veterans from doing the show, but I don't open up to her. And then I freeze. And then I think. And God knows my mind's foggy right now. I'm getting back on my meds. So, I like to do a checklist with her. And, I am a contradictory person. I will set up checklists and then she does what I want her to set up. But if I haven't had my meds, I go, well, that's stupid. Why are we doing this? Oh, you asked for it. Oh, I did. Oh, that's stupid. Why would I ask for it? And then she's like, okay. She's like, you take your meds. And it's like, you know, I think things will never become clear. Missions will never become clear. Future will never become clear. And again, this isn't a recruiting tool. This is a tool for if people want to join the military, they should probably come with the kids, be the guest, hear from the guests, how it is. Yeah, we do a lot of laughing, even during horrible subjects that we have. We still laugh. My wife can never understand how we can laugh at, people's misery or our misery and, keep going. Well, that's easy. It's because we've laughed in miserable situations. Losing people, it sucks. I think this is why we consider each other family, is because we lose one of ours, it's devastating. It is devastating. It doesn't matter if you knew the person or not. It is devastating. Um, you know, again, that's family. Whether you knew that person or not, that's still family. That's still someone who, raised their right hand, joined, went to boot camp or the academy, um, you know, was out in the field or the fleet, or I don't know, squadron for the Air Force, flight, I guess. And then either got out or still continued, and circumstances came up and they passed. I say circumstances came up because for veterans, it's not natural. We don't. Most of us don't die naturally. It's by our own hand, or it's by other people's hand. Um, you know, um, and then for the people in the military, it's usually naturally. Um, elevated heart rate or what, you just don't follow the risk management and you die. I know it seems cold when I say that, but calculated um, risk and everything else. You just how much more of yourself do you have to give a family before you just become an empty nest? I'm not. Yeah, I'm on meds, but they control my emotions. They control my depression, control everything. So I can be happy, do the show, be a better fiance / husband, be a father, be a better ex-husband, be a better son, be a better brother, although I'm forgetting. Just let's when we start getting more better, let's support each other. We can be cutthroat douchebags online, but when it comes face to face and we meet each other, let's support each other. Let's size each other up. Let's either hate each other, love each other, get to know each other, fight each other, do whatever we need to get past certain obstacles and boundaries. And let's thank God or whatever deity that you try to. Let's thank Him that we're still alive and we can carry on a mission that we should be. Let's continue being there for each other. Let's not slow it down. Let's not stop. We need to do a lot for each other, and you know, I know we can. I know we can do a lot for each other. I know that we can come together and help each other out. And you know, I look down because it's kind of hard. I look away because it's kind of hard. You know, I myself don't do a lot of that. Anyone will tell you, I'll be there for you for like a week, and then I'll fall off. And then when you really need me, I won't be there. But when I really need you, I'll be there. And granted, people are sick of it. But then again, isn't that the way it usually is? You know, we're needed. We're all in our feelings. We're all in our head. We're all in ourselves. Don't come out for other people. I can try to change it. I can try to do better. Everyone else can. You know, and as we get older, the wars get more intense. We get sad. We live. We wonder. We debate. Foreign policy, no foreign policy. If you're a theorist like me, not a conspiracy theorist, but a theorist, someone who, or speculated, I guess you could call me speculated too. You know, I'm one of the weird people. I like to speculate on what happens next. I know a lot of people like to consider it Monday morning quarterback, but to me, if you can look at the past, see what happened wrong or what could have been changed, maybe in the future something else could go better. You know, it's yeah. I don't know. I think we're getting to a time and a place where we need to go back to ancient times. And no, I don't mean swords, knives, and muskets. I mean a time where we weren't using optics. A time where we would try to use the moon like if we were to attack. And it happened. It happened. There's always been ways for people to conduct warfare at night without torches. out being seen. Um, this technology gives us advantage that, are we going to be reliant on it when, the worst comes to worst? When we started blocking everything out, we started killing technology, found a way to kill technology. What is it going to be after that? So why not go back and start training for basics? Go out at night, do exercise. See how far you can see down the street. Look for certain foods. And it's not like it's a new concept. We all did it. We all did it when we were first trained. We all did it. Dark dank place. Waited for our eyes to settle. Look, find the target, shoot it. Um, what does the future hold? That's the question. And honestly, I hope that the answer is going to be a lot. I hope that the future holds a lot. I hope we either see more startup businesses or more Fortune 500 CEOs. Because again, like I tell people, the veteran is not a shield. You can't just go back, I'm a veteran. No, it is a community. It is now a class, an actual social class. I think that's what worries people the most. When I hear someone say, oh, I'm just a civilian, no, you're not a civilian. Fortunately, we have created a social class against the wishes of the original commander-in-chief. And it's funny because it's before it was just, certain orders would come about and they would be nonsense, like the foreign wars, American Legion. Back then it was the Order of Cincinnatus and, other ones, that certain states would have their own little orders and everything like that. But then again, I wonder, when did George Washington finally say, you know what, we can't prevent this? Was it during the uprising? I mean, we're battling right now. Extremists on both sides. Doesn't stop. Definitely like. I know. And I'll get to that on a future episode. But I think next week will be extremists and veterans. Yeah, I really hope YouTube doesn't shut that one down. But again, there are good, there are bad. Not everyone is the same. And if you don't try to do that, then what are you? If you don't believe that there are good and bad veterans. You know, we say perception is the number one thing. Well, guess what? Country is sick of war. We didn't start it, but they're sick. Well, let me break that. The politicians started it. The military executed it. That's the difference. I think a lot of people understand. Sure, there are rogue military organizations that go out and do stupid shit. Blackwater. Well, what was formerly known as Blackwater, went out and did stupid shit, got in trouble. Sprayed the lines, fucked us all over. I mean, when people expect different, it's like, how can you expect different when you have politicians banging the drums of war? You don't want our people and our boys and our women, our men and women out in the front lines. And we suggest using these people. Against the UN treaty, but who cares? Blackwater. And there are organizations. I mean, there are plenty of organizations out there, people who are like, we can do it. There's maritime organizations. I was trying to join them. Why not? Go back on a ship, have a weapon, look out for pirates as the ship goes in and out of port. What's wrong with that? Women Need Steel, Salmon has a good organization for, helping kids, stopping exploitation. Yeah, his ideas in politics just I don't agree with, but you know what? Again, there are good and bad people. We can reflect on both. I mean, you can have people make arguments. Well, just because they support this doesn't mean that they personally. Well, guess what? As much as I'd like to say personally, that's why we're in this boat right now. That's why we have so much division. Is because personally, let's cancel this person. Personally, I don't like what they're doing. Let's cancel this person because personally, I don't like this. Perception. That's what we're fighting. We are fighting perception. Good perception, bad perception, doesn't matter. It's perception. It is perception nonetheless. That's why we're going after each other. I go into a lot of Twitter wars. I really do. And again, people know I troll. I'm a troll. I like having a good time. I like trolling. I even do it at work. I try to keep it down to a minimum so that I don't get in trouble. And so it doesn't look like I'm just, screwing around doing nothing. Because I do work, but I do like to troll at work too. And whether my coworkers think of it, doesn't matter. I'll stop eventually one of these days. But then again, that perception right there. You know, um, but again, I'd like to. There are a lot of people I'd like to thank, and I'm gonna keep this short because I gotta get to work. So I would like to thank Helium Radio Network. I would like to thank the audience, everyone who watches it, whether a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 45 seconds. It doesn't matter. If it's not for you guys, I wouldn't keep doing it. And I don't care about views. I don't care about subscribers. I mean, I do care a little bit about subscribers, but it's just people willing to listen is what I like. People willing to hear me get on here, have my little anxiety attack, go at 1,000,000 miles an hour, either rant or give something of substance. And again, next week I'll come up with articles from Military Times, Cast Purpose, and others. And they're going to be older articles. I just want you guys to know that firsthand. These are older articles, either before January 6th, and then maybe some after January 6th. And I will give credit to the sources. So, like Leo Shane, Military Times, or Paul Svolta, Casting Purpose. Or any contributors that they do. I'd like to thank my family. I would like to thank people who are going to come onto the show. Yes, I know you guys don't really like it, but help them out. Go to Cypher. Go to Cynical Historian. Watch his video. Again, it may not be your type of flavor, but guess what? Watch them. If your mind doesn't change, write a shitty comment that'll get you blocked. And tell him I sent you. Listen to Zero Block 30. Uncle Chaps, Captain Combs, and Kate. Great podcast. I love it. I wanted to give a shout out to Kate. I hope you're doing better. I hope that we as a nation can do better in the future. It's sad that we've shown our allies that, time and time again, when it's time to get out, we can't be counted upon. Get really sick of it. We need to change. I'm gonna call on this goes out to Representative Jason Crow, Senator Duckworth, Senator Cotton, Senator or Congressman Kizinger, Representative Kizinger. Thank you. I gotta see your guys' Twitter. I see what you're doing. I watch you on the news. You guys would like to come on, reach out. I will always have the email. vettalkpodcast1@gmail.com. It'll be in my YouTube subscription or description, and it'll be in the podcast description. Contact me if you want to come on. You know, I'm taking this a little bit more seriously, guys, and I'm gonna do my best to make everything a little bit better for everybody. And anyone who comes on, anyone who wants to say something, it's okay. Just say what you got to say, because I'll do a little comment special on YouTube, and I will roast the shit out of you. I have before. I will do it again. You know, and don't be afraid to leave comments. Don't be afraid to don't be afraid to reach out. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you want more, if you don't want more. Sadly, I can't do anything right now about my format because I'm not using the podcast laptop. Soon I'll be getting the podcast laptop back, and it's a little bit upgraded. So we'll see that. Then I'll have everything back. I can do files. I can do the music. I can do all that. I still have permissions, so that's good. I can get these guys' music down. I can get laid out on a track. I can do the intro. I can do the outro. It's gonna be great. Once I get that laptop back, it's gonna be just like the old days. And again, if you want to reach out, you know, to the politicians who are veterans, but just for the veterans. I was in the Navy, but one thing that always sticks in my mind is the Rangers motto: lead the way. You guys need to lead the way, whether you're a sophomore, junior, or I don't know what to call them, junior. Anyway, even if you're a young congressman, young senator, it doesn't matter. You're our representatives. If you run on a platform together in the military, make sure that you run on that platform and do what you're supposed to do. Two things. Training is not slack. Instead of a bloated budget, work on training, work on army, work on logistics. Fix basics. Make something meaningful to people. Don't fuck around. You're gonna get something done. Get something done. And I get it. I get it. Everything has changed from back in the day. I get it. I remember saying that those changes were mistakes. But again, I can't control. I can only control my consciousness, which again, Jason Crow, you've been doing a good job in my eyes. I would love to revote you. If I stay in your district, I will sure as hell have my vote. But again, for those who are veterans, get it done. Remember, there's always ways to point. Now, politicians out there, before you engage in another conflict, intervention, or war, think three things. Is it good for the economy? Is it good for the people? What will the perception be? I think that's easy. But then again, that's me. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.